Now we're going to have the tutorial on how to create these mini books. They've got the little tabs in here, and I just did a walkthrough video because these are for sale on my Etsy shop. These two, whoops, let me get the other one. These two right now are for sale in my Etsy shop, but I'm going to show you how to create your own if you are so inclined. I said in my intro to the other video that we are snowed in. I live in the South, but we're snowed in this winter, at least for the next foreseeable days anyway. And so I've been trying to get some projects done. It's just a great time to get that going. And I must be in the mood for spring, because if you look at these colors and all this, I must be thinking about spring, and I'll tell you I am. So we are going to put together these mini albums, and I think you'll like how smooth the process is and how much fun it is. So let's go ahead and dive into it. To start this project, you're going to need either 3 12 by 12 pages of designer papers. Now, let me tell you about your designer papers. You would need to make sure that they are non-directional. So, I mean, technically we could use the backs of these and then put this on the front of them, but I think instead I'm going to use plain cardstock. So if your 12 by 12 papers are directional, which these are, if you look, so if we would create it with this one, half of it would end up upside down, and that would look really silly. So you want to make sure it's non-directional. Now this, oh no, that's still directional because you got words there, so that wouldn't have worked anyway. But if you do have papers that are, you know, directional, you're going to want to use cardstock, and then you can put these on top. We're going to cut these to be our decorative pieces on top of the cardstock. Now, the two that I referenced earlier, they're actually, so these were non-directional papers that I was able to use for the most part. Now, see, really, those arrows kind of, they go down on some and up on the others, but I don't think that's that noticeable. But then, of course, the stripes are perfectly fine. That's definitely not directional. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. Now, oh, so this one I did on cardstock and then mounted the squares on top of there. All right, so let's get our cardstock. And what we want to do, we want to have, for this, I like to have 6 pages, so I'm using 3 pieces of cardstock. You can do this with as many pieces of cardstock as you want. They're going to start getting pretty thick, though, if you do more, because you're going to put inserts in the middle, and then, of course, once you start adding things, they're going to get thick. So I think 3 pieces of cardstock, which gives you 6 pages, is a pretty good size. But that's entirely up to you. And you can even do, I've made them before with just 2, and that's plenty. So it just depends on what pictures you have and what you want to do. Now, our first thing we're going to do is some scoring. So we're going to put this in our scoreboard. And we are going to score it at 3 inches and 9 inches, and this way. So we want to do 3 inches, and then we're going to do 9 inches. Okay? And what we're going to do is take this and fold in. And of course, since it's all one color, it doesn't really matter if we fold in or out, does it? So we're going to fold it like this. And go ahead and give that a nice crease. And then we're going to score it in half, which of course would be at 6 inches. And it doesn't matter. We'll be able to fold it the other way. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So 6 inches for our halfway mark. And we're going to fold it in. So what we end up with then is, you know, we did our score marks on 3 and 9, folded in like this, and then folded it in half. And then we're going to set that aside, get nice, and this is thicker cardstock, so it's kind of puffy there. And then we're going to do the same thing with our next one. And again, you could be doing this with your designer paper, and you wouldn't need cardstock then. You would just do your designer paper if it's non-directional. So that at 3 and at 9. And then we're going to fold it in. And fold it in. And then we're going to fold it, or I'm sorry, score it. We're going to score it in half at 6. And fold it in toward our cut lines there. Well, I keep getting cat hair. Well, there's cat hair everywhere, so it's no surprise. We do have 3 babies. Well, right now, so far, Zorro's still having to stay in the garage till we get a negative, hopefully a negative feline leukemia back on him. Keeps testing positive, so he has to stay away from the other kitties. So there we got our 2, and let's get number 3. But he's adorable, and he seems very healthy. He's our pure black kitty. He's beautiful, and we got him. He was probably born in May. And we got him in July, and he now is a bruiser. He's a big boy. And we did get him neutered, but he's still a big boy. There we go. But so sweet. And we want to blend the family, but we just can't blend them yet. And when I say out in the garage, that probably sounds bad, but no, that is where Charlie spends his whole day. It is a 6,000 square foot garage, so please do not feel bad for him. He has a little jungle gym out there. It's heated. It's full of all of Charlie's cars, but yeah, it's quite a nice place. He has this little playland out there. And he spends all day with Charlie. Okay, so now we have 3 pages, which actually gives us 6 pages. And now you can see why we need to put a strip right here. So what I do is I take my designer papers, or you could use cardstock. I might even use, the more I think about it, I could use a contrasting cardstock. So I could either use a contrasting cardstock, or I could go ahead. I have a couple pages of this. Isn't that gorgeous? I got this. This is Prima Marketing, and I got it in one of my mystery boxes. So I think that's just so gorgeous. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use this. So what you want to do is you want a 1-inch strip that is, of course, you're going to cut it down 1 inch by 12, but then cut it in half, because you could put it on here and crease it, but I don't like that. It kind of gets jammed up to me, in my opinion, so I cut it in half. So we're going to do a 1 inch by 12, and you'd want it this way. Do you see what I mean? You'd want to cut your 1 inch this way. And then, so we'll cut 1 inch by 12, and then we'll cut it in half at 6. So I will come back with that, because I think this will be gorgeous. And what I could do, so I've got these other pieces. Ooh, that's pretty. Isn't this paper just unreal? I think I'm going to need more than just these, though. And I think there's a different, wait a minute, there is a different one. Here's even another one. These are just so gorgeous. It goes this way. But, I could cut some 1 inch by 12 strips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make our picture. Some of this is going to cover the front and cover the different pages, but we'll also make some photo mats out of this, or maybe even some contrasting cardstock. So let me cut the strips, and I will come back and we'll get our strips glued down and then get working on this. I cut the 1 inch by 12 and then I cut them in half. So we've got 1 inch by 6 inch. And I think these are going to look great on here, especially these. Now I'm kind of wishing I would have cut them all from this paper because that's what really looks gorgeous on there. And I have enough. I might go back and do that instead. Let's just see what we got here. So, so some of these I will make a belly band also. But what you have to do is you have to at least get this one down and then make a belly band on top of it. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my heavens, that is just so beautiful. And I think I'm going to cut more out of this pattern. Like I said, I have enough of these papers. In fact, I was always wondering what I was going to do with all of them. I have an idea though for this belly band. I'm thinking, what if we put a darker kind of purple on here as the actual belly band, and then if you have the card going down in there, then people will see where the belly band is. I wish now I would have put the dark down, put this cardstock down first, then put that on top, but that doesn't look too bad either. So I'll just go ahead and make a belly band out of this. And like I said, normally like I will fold the edge at maybe like 1/8 or 1/4, but I think with this we want to make sure that it stays in place when it goes down. So I believe this will work for this mini book. Just put that in the middle. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. So pretty. Then let's go ahead and put this one down. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay. I just think that is really, really nice. Definitely making me think of spring. I don't know about you. Let's get us another strip like this for there. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll make us a little tuck spot. Like I said, it'll be obvious once we put the little insert in there. And I am using my favorite glue. It's that Bacon. Well, this is actually 3-in-1 because I couldn't get the, usually I use the fabric glue, but they did not, it wouldn't have gotten to me soon enough. So I got the 3-in-1. It's still fast drying. That's the main thing. You want to make sure it's fast drying, and it is. All right, and so now I went ahead and cut, because I think I'd rather use my cardstock to put down on this, because we're going to cover these up for the most part. So let's don't waste that gorgeous paper. But on these, I'm going to leave them as tuck spots. So let's go ahead and get this. And what that does is that just seals up your little pocket there. Isn't that cool? I can't remember where I saw this. I saw it somewhere. And I've been using it for a while. Just very convenient little thing. So you can just like pump some of these out. But make sure that's not going to interfere with our fold there. All right, so we have all 3 pages together, which, like I said, is giving us 6 pages. And it does stick out. You know, the middle ones are going to stick out because of how thick it is, but you're really not going to notice that once you get your little inserts in there. So it doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can always, you know, go ahead and trim them even. But I think it's just fine. So what we need to do now is punch our holes. And I'm going to use, because we're going to put ribbon through to tie it, I'm going to use my crocodile to get my holes in here. So 1 second. So I like to use my crocodile for this, and I like the hole to be about, so if you look, I'm going to use the 3/16. So to measure your 3/16, this is where your roller is. So I like it to be about on the 1 inch. This is my favorite one. Yeah, so that's about right. So we want it about on the 1 inch. That's what I like about it. You can get this so precise. Just put them together. And if it was a little bit thicker, I would put paper clips to make sure they stay, or clamps to make sure they stay together. But this is small enough that I think this will work. And then you just want to watch. What I like about this is you can watch the hammer going down and make sure it's in that crease. And it is. And then we'll just turn it over and do the same, and then you get the exact same distance in, which I just moved it. So that was not good. Okay. There we go. I'm going to move it just a smidgen. I want to make sure it's exactly in that crease. Okay, so that's our holes done there. Here are my purple ribbons. So we could, wonder how that dark would look. You know what? Let's look at our papers on there, because we are going to put our papers on here. So if we have our papers. Oh, wow. I love contrast, you know, because I just think it makes things pop. So we're going to do the dark. What we could do, sometimes I will use 2 ribbons, you know, so we could do 2 ribbons. We really could. Let's see how, I definitely want the dark for sure. Oh, isn't that pretty? Yeah, that's going to be really pretty. Very pretty. So do I want the light one in there too? Let's see. Up, up. See, that's brand. I'd like to put, I've got some fingernail polish that I'll put on, clear fingernail polish I'll put on after I cut this one. So it's going to be hard to thread 2 of them, but not impossible. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty. This one's going to be like real springy and feminine. Now, the way to tell, I like to do my ribbon for these books. I do my ribbons differently for all my different books, but for these, I like to bring them together here, okay? And then we'll tie it here and then bring it around so that we can tie it again in the front. So that's not going to be enough. So it would come here and then out here. Now we're getting to, see what I mean? Now we're getting to where we'll have enough. So let's go ahead and I have a lot of ribbon, so I'm not worried about wasting. Not too much. I mean, I don't want to waste stuff, but I'm not too bothered by having to snip extra off. I'd rather have it too long Okay, so we're going to cut. I am going to give myself a little bit extra right here. And then we're going to go ahead and put our fingernail polish on and give that a second to dry. This will keep it from fraying. Sometimes it helps you thread it through too, because we still have to thread through the other side. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and cut my papers. I'm going to cut them so our panels on here are going to be 6 by 6, obviously. So I'm going to do these like 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, so that we just have 1/8 of an inch around all the edges. I went ahead and cut the panels, and then I also went ahead and put this through so you didn't have to see me struggle and getting both sides through. So I went ahead and did that. So what we'll do is we'll just tie it now. I think a lot of times I do it this way. It makes it kind of easier. So I take my ribbon and tie it here. And then we're going to want a double knot this. So if you don't have anyone to hold it for you, and my cats aren't very good at that, so I just put my finger there and I kind of loop it. The things you have to improvise, you know. But there we go. So you just get these. There we go. I think I'll see. Anyway, of course, when you try to do it on camera, I do this a lot by myself, but get that nice and tight. Doesn't help having 2 ribbons. 2 strands that we're trying to get through here. Let's do it this way. Okay. And then that way, I make sure I got this nice and tight. And then, there we go. So then we got a nice tight knot right there. And then what we're going to do is this will wrap around like so and tie in the front. So that's how we've got our ribbon. And now we can go ahead and put our panels down. So let's do our cover first, huh? And I really like, let me show you how these papers are just so pretty. Show you how these panels turned out. I really like that one. Isn't that pretty? I think I want one of the kind of busier ones for the cover though. Ooh, that would make a pretty cover. Wow, that'd make a really pretty cover, wouldn't it? So with this one with the butterfly, ooh, look at that one with the butterfly. I really think that's probably going to be our cover. That's kind of a plainer one. And then these, of course, are just beautiful. So it's going to be between one of these and this one. So that is lovely as could be. And so is that. Wow. Let's put some of our, so here's what I've got for potential embellishments for the cover. I've got one of these. This is the Prima marketing flower. I've got a butterfly. I had some other things here. Oh, this flower too is really pretty. It's probably a little bit more toned down than that one. And then I've got some of these felt flowers. These felt flowers, I got them from Amazon. And no, I take that back. I got them from Temu. And they have been amazing, especially when they're in 3 different shades like that. But let's see. So if we went with this one, and we kind of did my favorite flower here, and maybe the butterfly. And now you usually want 3. So we could put another little something there. That's pretty. Or how would this one? I don't know if I want the butterfly on there, if I already got a butterfly. It looks better without the butterfly. Maybe the flower down there. Wow, that is so pretty. Wish y'all could talk to me, tell me which one you like the best. I could have you vote and then come back and finish it, right? And we might need a little something else there. Like, look at these papers I've had. Oh, that doesn't really match though. I got these rice papers and I think they're so pretty. I haven't been able to use them yet. Doesn't really, those tones don't really go together good. And we could have, this could be a title. That could be a title for us. So we had the title there and then this here. I don't know. These are they're too much the same size. They're like, yep, competing too much. No, I really like that other flower better, so to be honest with you, I think I kind of like that little combo there, and we could find other things to spruce it up. Would we want to do a title somewhere else or title down here? And don't forget, we're going to have our ribbon going across there. That might not work. That would work better. Doesn't work. Okay, I need to make, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave this for last. I can always cut another one of these if we use it in the middle here. I'm going to move on and start putting papers down. Now this one we're going to want to put a tuck spot, you know, through that belly band. So let's go ahead and get some of these pretty papers. Oh, that looks so nice. I think what I'm going to use, I've got my Creative Memories. This is the, nope, that's the repositional tape. I want the other one, the regular tape runner. There it is. So this is my Creative Memories regular tape runner. I think that'll be the best one to use for this. Oh, pretty. So lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm going to go ahead and put the panels on all these blank ones, and I'll speed it up and play some music. I must have miscounted because I need 2 more. I started thinking, well, actually I would need, because this would have fit there, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need 2 more. But I started thinking about this one. These plainer ones, I could actually use these as my insert. So I need to make it smaller. And what I did with my other one was I rounded the corners to make it easier to slip in and out. So I think these will be great for that. And then, yeah, that gives you plenty of room. You could even still write on this because that's pretty faint there. You could write on here. So it could be journaling or for photos. So I need to cut, let's see, I'm going to use that for an insert. So I need to cut 1, 2, 3 more. Why does this one want to come up? I need to cut 3 more. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'll go ahead and cut the inserts while I'm going to. And I'm going to make these probably 5.5. I think I made it 5.5 by 5 3/4 so that they would slip down in. Let's round these corners. It doesn't hurt to just go ahead and round the corners and test that out because I forget exactly what size I did make those. And you'll need to know. But all the panels are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And that's what I cut this one as, because I was planning on using it as a panel. But let's see how easily it slides in. Yeah. Okay, so that's really the size we want. So we want it 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, but then we will round the corners and we're going to put the tabs on it. So I'll get to cutting and be right back. While I was away, I just went ahead and cut everything else I needed. So I've got 6 of these panels. They're 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then I rounded the edges. And then we are going to put the little tabs on. And the way I make my tabs, this is 2 by 2. So I have 6 2 by 2 squares, and what we're going to do is fold it in half, and you don't really need to score it with something this small. You can just line it up, fold it in half, get a little crisp edge there, and then we're going to round. So the folded side, not where it opens, but your folded side, you're going to round the corners. Oh, well, this is going to jam up on me. Figures. Let's empty it. That's probably what's wrong. Yeah. I tend to let them pile up in there. That's not good for anybody. There we go. Now it's working. So that's going to be our tabs. So that's how we make our tabs. Just a 2 by 2 square, and then I probably want to go that way. It looked like upside down the other way. 2 by 2 square, fold it in half, and then round the edge that's folded around that. And then it's going to fit on like so. And you're going to start at the top and then keep coming down. And we'll do those together, but I just want to show you what else I was cutting while I was away. And I still have, I went ahead, I made an executive decision and I put that on the cover. And we'll have to play with how I'm going to decorate the cover here in a minute. But I still had some blank pages, and so I cut a few more. I've got this one with the bee, and then this one we can put on the back. So that's all I needed, because this is going to be a tuck spot there. All right, so anyway, and then also while I was away, I went ahead and cut out some pieces for my belly bands. And I'm just going to put some ribbon on them. I cut holes, and then I'll put some ribbon, and we can tuck those, down into there. And then this one down in there. And I would like that real decorative one, because you could kind of write on there if you needed to. So that, we'll put ribbon on those. And let's go ahead and get our tabs all sorted here. Oh, this one must, it goes on the back. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't round those corners because it goes on the back. This kind of reminds me of May Day. You remember maypoles? I don't know, you're all pretty too young to remember maypoles, but there was such a thing. And you would, like, we did it in grade school. And I think in my mom's day, it was really a big thing. But you get this ribbon and you dance around the maypole. I believe it's welcoming spring. I don't remember all of the details about it. Someone else probably knows. We could look that up. But anyway, I do remember all the ribbons and dancing around the pole. And not the kind of pole dancing, as I was saying that, it's like, yeah, dancing around the pole. All right, so now what we're going to do is take these and go ahead and start lining those up. So we need to fold them all, and you want to pay attention to your orientation if it matters. Like on these, you wouldn't want it going that way. So we're going to fold this way, because with it being a square, of course, you can fold it either way. I'll speed it up here. Okay, so now we have all our tabs And I don't know if you noticed that one, I couldn't tell which way was which on it. Kind of looked like it could have gone either way. All right, so we're just going to, all we need to do is put adhesive on the very edges, because we do want them to stick out. I guess it doesn't matter which one's in first. They're all really pretty, although this one's really pretty. It might be a nice first impression. So we're going to start here at the top. And then we're going to slip this. This will just slip right down in here. Now I find sometimes, you know, as these get fuller, you got to kind of hold it open to put that in. Am I doing it right? What's going on here? Might need to sliver a little bit off. I don't want it to be so loose, but I do want it to go down easier than this. Usually they do. There we go. I think as it loosens up and you put it in there more often, oh, isn't that pretty? Okay. The other thing you could do with this is you could make these that darker cardstock. Make them stand out, but I like this design so much, I'm going to put this design on them all. I probably shouldn't have put that in there yet till I measure them all anyway. Because we want to know where to put the next one. As I got toward the last one, I just went ahead and wanted to make sure I got to the bottom, so I skipped ahead to that one and then put this one. And I probably could have put that down lower, couldn't I? That's what I like about, instead of using glue for these, I like to be able to use the sticky tape, because, or the tape runner, because then you can reposition them. Now I will tell you, I mean, so don't worry, like don't think, oh, if you can reposition them then they're going to come off. It really doesn't. After it's been on there for a while and you leave it alone, it really adheres fast, so that's not a concern. I use it with my mini albums all the time and they stay together. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so let's go ahead. We can put these in and then we just need to embellish it some. This is not going to take much embellishment, as you can see, because you know, the papers are just so spectacular that it really doesn't need a whole lot of embellishing. And I am thinking, so I was planning on selling this one, and I keep thinking maybe I want to keep this one for myself. I don't know. I got to decide. Ooh, so pretty. Oh, wow. Of course, I can make another one. I have enough paper, so I probably will sell this one. Hopefully someone will find it as gorgeous as I do. Wow. Just beautiful. And I mean, you know, you can write on this, put more photos. Plenty of room to put your stuff. And then I think, like I said, I mean, I don't think I'm going to embellish it other than the cover, because once you put pictures in here, that's going to be plenty. Excuse me. Okay. So now I'm just kind of stuck on this flower, but I'm wondering if I should be, because maybe it doesn't do anything for that. I do have also some bling, because I think bling would go. That doesn't really go, does it? No, none of them really go because I put that gold on there now. What about some of our just plain bling? That's pretty. What if we did that and a little bit of that? Ooh. I might have some light blue flowers too. I pulled out purple flowers. Let me look for some light blue. Hang on one sec. I found these Prima flowers. I've said in other videos before, I get so much Prima stuff because what I do is I'll go on their website. They usually have warehouse sales. So if you go to their website and you go to warehouse, I think that's what it is, the warehouse tab, you can get their surplus. Though there'll be surprise boxes. You're not going to know what's in it, but how can you be disappointed in anything Prima flowers? I mean, anything Prima marketing. I'm never disappointed. And I will always be able to use them. If not immediately, eventually. So this, isn't that pretty? That goes nicely. Let's pull this apart. We could use a couple of these maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Might not have to use all of them. Well, I don't know. Kind of pretty like that. We'll see. Might be too much. We had that there. That blue's not exactly right. But this one might be. That purple's right. Oh, there we go. Now I'm wishing I would have put the other paper on for the cover. No, I think that's okay. What do y'all think? I guess it's going to look nice. I'm going to go for it. I wish I had bling like that. That's what I was thinking. Should I have kept... oh, wait a minute. Here's one it doesn't fit. It's not the right size. But if we had something just plain, would that have looked better? Nah. Let's go back to this. I could have sworn I thought I had some Say It With Crystals about the right tone, but I don't. Got some plain bling. Does kind of clash though, doesn't it? If we just did this and got ourselves a title, that's not the right either. I found Say It With Pearls, so I was thinking this might work because then we wouldn't be clashing with that. Oh yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I'll put this one here, and then I also had this little, I can pick it up here. This I thought maybe I could tuck in there, like Love You. Put a pop dot so it stays. Maybe up a little bit more like that. I think that's pretty. Now, of course, our ribbon's going to come across there, but that'll be okay. All right, I think that's what we're going to work on here. So I'm going to put the pearls. Say It With Pearls. I love all this stuff. See what I mean? I get all this with those Prima marketing surprise boxes. It's just surplus things that, I guess didn't sell in season, or just they bought extra of, and I can always find projects to make with it. So anyway, they're usually $75 and you get over 200. I think they say like $275 or $250 worth of products, and you really do. Now, I don't know why I'm doing this way. I know better because I'm talking. Normally I put the top part down and then I slide the backing right off. So I don't know why I'm not doing that today. Just must be the snow interfering with my brain waves. There we go. But there is an easier way to do this, because they can definitely get twisted here. If you do it the wrong way, which is the way I'm doing it, and if you do it the right way, it just slides right into place. There we go. Not a complete disaster. Now we just put that there maybe, and that there, and then we'll figure out how to get that in there. I kind of like it to be like it's part of that flower. And I think we need a pop dot underneath it to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and start with this one. You definitely want to use your glue for things like this. You can give it a little hold, a little press there. So what do y'all think of this? Is this something you like? Isn't it pretty? Think you'll make one? Let me know if you're going to make one. Let me know if you want to buy this one. I'm going to have it on my Etsy shop. And then put that one there. Pretty, pretty. Whoop, just moved on me, didn't it? Okay, I'm gonna need to let that sit for a bit. And then put this. I might not if I tuck it in enough, and you can still read the Love You. Let's see how this works. I'll get one of my pop dots. Okay, let's see how this is going to work. Might need two of them. I've done that before where I've stacked pop dots. There we go. No, it works. Okay. Pretty, pretty. I really like it. Oh, ribbon. We got to put ribbon on here yet. And then that is ready. You know what? Something like right there would look pretty. I had these little... This was kind of funny. Oh, you probably noticed I've got different sleeves on now because it got chilly in here, so I had to put my sweater on. But, ooh. How funny is that? I don't know if that goes. That doesn't really go, but I had those little pink ones out. You wouldn't want anything too thick anyway because you don't want it to block, you know, like closing it. All right, let's put a little bit of ribbon in here and we're done. Put this aside so it can dry. I'll probably do a flip through of this one, just like a musical flip through, so that people can see it in case they're interested in it. Now see, now it's not praying this time. I don't know what it is. That is starting to fray now. Crazy, isn't it? Now I like having them sticking up, you know, out of the top of your mini albums. I love that. This was a little bit shorter than the other one. Let me know, what do you all do for your, like, if you have ribbon fraying? Do y'all do fingernail polish? Do you burn it? Or do you have some other way? I'd love to know if there's other ways to do this. I'm going to let that dry. Thank you so much for watching.